day.
Oh, but that was it. It's nice to see your things go out into the world, other people
Right.
enjoy them.
Yeah.
I'd like to call this meeting in Timberville Town Council order, May 11, 2023. Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Everybody received copies of a lot of minutes. You have your April 11th budget meeting. We have the April 13th town council meeting, and we have the April 27th budget meeting. And we can approve them all at once if we so choose, but did everyone have a chance to read through them? Is there any corrections that need to be made at this time? Is Clarence not coming today?
I haven't heard.
Okay. You have any corrections at all? Gonna need a motion to approve all 3 minutes.
Make a motion to approve all 3 minutes?
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we'll go around the room.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's taken care of. Everyone got a copy of the treasurer's report with the balances in all the accounts. You'll notice that there's a little bit added to the kayak launch. It's up to 7432. Any questions for Melinda as far as for the treasurer's report? Okay. Everybody got a copy of your bills for payment. Any question on any of the bills that are to be paid?
I did have a question about, I guess it was for Flips for the repair of one of the police cruisers. Is that going to be turned into insurance to get reimbursed for that or no?
Typically, if we have anything that's in a smaller amount like that, we just pay it out. But then if there are larger damages, then we turn them in. Keeps from having so many incidences on our insurance and helps keep the premiums down.
Any other questions, any other line items? Okay, then a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Sharon. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Around the room?
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you all. Chief, you got anything for us today? I know you sent us a long update on a lot of things going on in
It's always a lot of
the
stuff
police
going on.
department right now.
The ARPA grant, which was Channel 2 DCPS, we did receive that email confirming we will be receiving that, so we'll get the letter to come, and then Austin will need to sign that when we get that. But it's a done deal. We will
Okay.
be receiving that money. And then I made mention of the FOIA request. I went over all that, and that was taken care of today.
Oh, it is?
I took care of it, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Any questions for Chief? Sorry we didn't have a meeting today. We had that EDA thing going on, so. Any questions for Chief? None? Okay, everyone received Chris's Public Works. What I want to do is I know Chris sent it to you. Let's give Chris the contact. I want Chris to send it to all the council. The council can have an opportunity to engage with Chris, if that makes sense. It's nice that he sends it to you, but let's just have him send it to them so they can just send a note back if they have any questions on it. So what do you got for Public Works, AC?
Hey, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the update on the grass ordinances?
So I'm not sure exactly what you're asking in general. There was a list in the email of the 30 ordinances that have been documented so far. About a third of those have been taken care of. There's one that is a bank foreclosure issue back on Walnut that we've been working with the family that still technically owns that. I think they're the ones that finally mowed that. The Old Mason Motor Lot up here, Sergeant Hook got in touch with them and they mowed part of it. And I don't know if their mower broke or what the deal is. So the grass is being addressed one by one. Is there one specifically that you're?
That's the one.
Yeah, so Jeremy got in touch with them and they came out there and moved part of it and then didn't finish it, so we don't know if they have an equipment issue or what, but they started, 2 days or so after you contact them?
Yeah.
So that property owner's become very easy to work with, so we expect to be taken care of, it's probably a technical issue.
You cool?
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's no problem. No, we got questions, we need to ask them. Public Works, see what you got for us.
So I sent out an email today, I don't know if everybody got a chance to read it or not, but it was a lot of last minute information. We had a Zoom meeting with the Plain District Commission yesterday, and there is grant funding out there, as explained in the email, for charging and fueling infrastructure for electric vehicles. And the way that the PDC is looking at this is, if it goes the way that they would want it to, there would be no cost to the town or the towns as they do it. It is a really large sum of money, and which is why they're looking to do a consortium of the towns to get them in on this grant, do it as a regional thing. Basically, the grant funding is for level 2 and level 3 type chargers. Level 2 type chargers are about $10,000 a piece. Level 3 type chargers are about $100,000 a piece. And you have to have a minimum of 4 chargers at a charging station. So that's why they're trying to, because in potential for one locality to have that much need for a charging stations that would get up over that $500,000 limit may be kind of small. So I just needed to know from council if it's something that we're interested in pursuing. And if you are,
I thought the email said 80-20.
it is, it's an 80-20 grant.
Grant.
So it's 80%, there's an 80% that the
They
grant
pay.
would cover, and then there's a 20% match. And so the idea is, and they're actually having another Zoom meeting tomorrow with a company that I guess has participated in this before, and they are going to explain how they have structured it in the agreements they have in other places. And so the third party would be the one that covers the 20% match. So it wouldn't be, that's where I'm saying there wouldn't be any cost to the town for doing it the way that the PDC is looking at it.
Yeah, I'm not interested if it's taking taxpayers' money to subsidize the electric vehicle.
Right.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But if it's a private company who wants to put up their match to have an electric charging station at there for business, I got no say in that, you know. But I don't want to. I mean, we went through the budget. We've beat this thing for a while, and I don't want to spend taxpayers' money.
Well, yeah. And the only way that I would recommend even considering it is if there's no cost to the town.
Right, right.
But we could go into it and say that, yes, the town is interested if, if there is no cost to the town, if the 20% match would be covered by a third party.
That's where I stand. I don't know where the rest of the council stands.
I'm not interested.
You're not interested, Carl?
I could care less.
Okay.
I don't see any harm in pursuing. When you say region, what is the region that
So
you're talking about?
the Central Shenandoah Plain District Commission
Okay.
is, it's the CSPDC
Okay.
region.
Okay.
So they would have is it 7 counties?
It's a mess of counties, and 11. It's 11 towns, 7. It's a very large
Yeah,
area.
so it's a huge area, so.
I don't
but-
see any harm in pursuing just to get more information on it. I don't see any problem with it.
Isaac, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, not really interested.
Okay, someone make a motion.
But see, I just don't understand, how could a third party come in and they would match that? That's suspicious to me.
So the third party is the one that would operate the charging station. So
Right.
they're the ones that are gonna make money off of
Money.
the charging station.
But then eventually they would charge us.
No,
No, never.
no. It would just be like an independent business that sets up. It's just a conduit to get a charging station like that put in. But they're the ones that would cover, that's why they want the third party involved, is because the third party can cover that 20% match. And then there wouldn't be any responsibility from the localities to cover any cost of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, a business gets it in for 1/5 of the cost, and down the road they can make money off of
Right.
charges someone in charge. Well, let's make it official. Someone make a motion of what they think, and we'll see where it carries.
Or if you want to do it by consensus, that's fine.
You're good with consensus?
I'm fine with that,
Okay,
yeah.
so no, 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 yes, no.
Okay.
Okay.
The VDOT and the Commonwealth Transportation Board hosted their meeting on the public hearing on the 6-year improvement plan. The mayor and I attended, the mayor spoke, and it was actually on TV.
On TV, yeah.
But did a good job in that, and they had 35 speakers, I believe is what it was that night, and they were limited to 3 minutes, and it probably averaged out to about 3 minutes per speaker. So it was pretty good time, a pretty long time of how long people spoke. But we went in support of the rail trail, and there were others there that were supporting the rail trail, and then there were others that were there, the rails with trails. And then there were a couple other issues, mainly up around Front Royal, Strasburg area, that they spoke about. It was an interesting meeting. Lots of good information came out, and but
They set a record for people speaking that day. I think 20 some was the record before. Now we set a new record for how many people spoke.
yeah.
It was a very informative meeting, though. It really was.
Yeah. And the last thing that I have on my list is the park restroom facility RFP is out, and we've already had people contact us getting more information about it. I am going to go over, my plan is to go over tomorrow and mark out the general location of where Chris and I have talked about maybe the bathroom could go. And then if the park committee members could go over this weekend or sometime early next week and look at, I think yellow flags is what Chris gave me. And I'm just going to put those flags in the ground. So if y'all get a minute to drive by
You
and
want
look
to
at
remind
that.
everyone who's on the park. Everyone know who's on the park committee.
Does everybody know who's on the park committee? If you're on the park committee.
I don't know. We should have 3 of them. Okay.
So I'll have those flags in the ground. I'll get those in the ground tomorrow, and then if y'all can drive by and see if just what you think about the location. And that's all that I have for my report.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do the consideration for the EDA recommendation, and then we'll jump on the public,
Sure.
if you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that. You want me to take the lead on this?
Yeah, definitely you take the lead on that. I'm not taking the lead on this.
So the town has an economic development authority that was created through the Industrial Development Act in Virginia, which allows the town of Timberville to work with organizations to issue bonds for funding projects. So we have been working with Sunnyside for several years now on bond issuances to Sunnyside to fund Sunnyside projects. And Truist is the bank. The benefit to the town is it's $3,500 a year, right? An administrative fee that comes into the town that we can then use for economic development purposes. So we are doing what we have done many times before, which is issuing another round of bond issuances. So the EDA met this evening and voted to approve all of the bond requests and passed a resolution adopting that. The town council needs to adopt a similar resolution adopting the recommendation from the EDA. So there was a packet that went out with some information. The most important parts I'd like to read just so everybody knows exactly what it is that we're doing, and then I need a motion to approve the resolution. So the recitals are a summary of everything that I just said. Now therefore be it resolved by the town council of the town of Timberville as follows. The council hereby approves the issuance of bonds in the aggregate principal amount up to $8 million by the authority for the benefit of the borrower solely to the extent required by section 147F of the code and section 15.2-4906 of the act to permit the authority to assist in accomplishing the plan of refunding and concurs in the authority's resolution approving the issuance of bonds. The approval of the issuance of bonds by the council does not constitute an endorsement to a prospective purchaser of the bonds as to the creditworthiness of the plan of refunding or the borrower, the economic viability of the facilities to be financed as part of the plan of refunding, or any other matters relating to the bonds, the facilities to be financed with the proceeds of the bonds, or the plan of refunding. The bonds shall not constitute a debt, liability, or obligation of the town. In accordance with the act, The bonds shall not be deemed to constitute a debt or pledge of faith or credit or taxing power of the Commonwealth of Virginia or any political subdivision thereof, including the authority and the town. The bonds shall provide that neither the Commonwealth of Virginia nor any political subdivision thereof, including the town and the authority, shall be obligated to pay the principal of or interest on the bonds or other costs incident thereto, except from the revenues and monies pledged thereof by the borrower. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. So, there's no cost to the town. All the costs get paid by Sunnyside as the borrower to the bank. The only benefit to the town is that $3,500 a year. When we met tonight, we looked at the finances. We're holding a little over $21,000 in the fund created from the bonds issued already. So I think it's a win for the town. That's what the Economic Development Authority voted on. We just now need a motion to approve it or to deny the recommendation of the EDA.
I make a motion that we approve the EDA recommendation.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Around the room?
Yes.
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 Okay. And we did have a good meeting. We got a couple ideas we're working on, but we had kind of dropped off through COVID and all that stuff, and we're back at it again. But if you have any ideas that could help with economic development, please see myself, AC, send us a note, whatever kind of thing we talked about. What is it? Friends of North Fork want to
Yeah.
get together and work out something down at the park to celebrate what we've done down there with the boat launch and stuff, and that would bring people into town. You have contacts with Chamber of Commerce who would like to work with Timberville to see what they can do to help bring businesses into town. So we're going to start those two, and any of the funding that needs to be done to help that happen will be done out of the EDA monies that Sunnyside has provided. Okay, and we'll just update. We'll let the council know when those meetings are, if anyone council members want to attend, to see what's going on. Okay, so that's all we have. Anything on business industry before I move to the public hearing?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, and it's after 7:15, so I can open up this public hearing. And AC, you gonna read that?
So we have a proposed budget for fiscal year 2023-2024. It totals $2.583 million. The proposed budget reflects the following increases: a 1% on meals tax rate, 75 cents per month on trash charges, the additional trash containers charged at full trash rates, and 5% increase on water and sewer rates, which, if you're a minimum user, equates to an additional $1.65 per month in charges. So that's the brief of it.
And one part of that 2.583 is the $153,000 grant that Chief spoke about today, where we're receiving it this fiscal year, but we're not spending it until next fiscal year. So you have to show it as a draw from savings. So that's $153,000 of that increase. Okay, it's open for public comment. You have public comment, and this is public comment in reference to the budget. We'll have public comment in reference to anything else you want to talk about at the end. But if you want to make a public comment about the budget, come up, introduce yourself, say where you live, and that's your chance.
Tyler Jessup, 180 South C Street, Timberville. So I served 4.5 years on this council. It was always my opinion that as a member of the council, it was the responsibility of the council members to be fiscally responsible to the citizens. And I was here several months ago. I roasted a couple of other members of the council at that point in time who are no longer here over the fact that they moved the Christmas Village out of town, even though the town had spent money. So I'm here to roast a few more. The budget, I've got a problem with, and the reason I have a problem with it is, and I will tell you straight out, everybody here, my wife is on council. The only reason I know anything about this budget is because I straight ask questions, and I think that I have a right to know just as well as anybody else. The budget includes a 10% increase in pay for all employees of the town. I will tell you, I've been in public service for over 26 years. I have never at one point in time gotten a 20 or 10% raise in pay. That includes for promotions, for increases in pay because of cost of living, or those combined. And so my issue is, as a member of council for 4.5 years, I don't think during the time I spent here, anybody on council was as more in favor of the employee than I was. I fought for the hazardous duty pay to be added to the police department. I fought for other things for the employees. However, when the employees received a 5% increase with a $3,500 bonus last year, and now they're prospectively getting a 10% increase on the backs of a 5% increase in water and sewer and a 1% increase in the meals taxes on the few restaurants that we have in this town, I think we got a problem.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I just this week, as a member of public safety for Rockingham County, visited a resident. And this resident is 80-some years old. She lost her husband 2 years ago to COVID. She is renting a home in Timberville and told me she is at the top of what she can afford to pay. Last year, her air conditioning went out. She went to her landlord. The landlord corrected the problem, but in turn increased her rate of rent. What do you think the future is going to hold? When you increase something that is not a capital expenditure, a one-time payment, but something that is a recurring payment is going to do in the future to tax rates. I can tell you, if you think it's anything other than increase, you're a fool. And so increases in taxes on properties means an increase in somebody like this's rent. And so you got somebody who worked 80-some years of their life, including their husband who's passed away, and now they can't afford where they live if it goes up anymore. I've also talked to other residents around me who are elderly, and on a month's basis, they have to determine whether they're going to pay for groceries, whether they're going to pay for prescriptions, or they're going to pay their bills. That's a problem. I'm not in favor of supporting people who don't want to work but want to live on the system. But I am in favor of supporting people who work their damn life. And now they can't afford to live because we keep increasing the costs of their living. And that's a problem. So 10%, I'm all in favor of the employee, but 10% I think is a bit extravagant.
Okay.
And so I think some things need to be thought about before the passage of this budget. And I think the citizens of this town need to think about the sheeps in wolves' clothing, or the wolves in sheep's clothing, should I better say, that sit amongst them. And when it comes time to vote, I understand we haven't had a plethora of candidates, but maybe some more people need to come forward, because there's too many people that are willing to increase and increase and increase because they think it's no big deal. But it is a big damn deal
Okay.
to people who are on a fixed income.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next person.
Emma Stroderman, 196 West Riverside Drive, again, Timberville, homeowner.
Okay.
I would like to add something to what Mr. Jessup just said. If y'all remember, not too long ago, we had a dear resident here in Timberville that lived on a fixed income. She had to leave her house and go to a 432 square feet apartment where it was available. Not too long ago, we found a lady here at the park. And you know what happened to her? Because she was found by one of your employees.
I found her.
I was a friend of her. The lady had enough, couldn't afford nothing. Who else might be on that boat? I don't know. Will you find more like that? I don't know, but I hope not. Would it be on the citizens or the leaders? It's up to you.
Okay, thank you. Next. Anybody else?
I'm a good public speaker, I'll tell you that.
I don't think any of us are, so go for it.
My name's Darlene Kaufman, I live at 249 Walnut Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
We moved in here as teenagers in 1970. I've watched this town grow, I love this town. It was a great place to raise our kids. But I do have one question, and then I do have a comment to make. The question on the community events, it jumped from $500 to $7,000, am I looking at that correctly? What are we doing that's so
It was,
expensive?
what we did, we took all of the community events that were spread out in the police department. A lot of it was allocated in the police department. It's all in that one line now, instead of being spread out in different line items throughout the budget.
And then I kept looking on the town website to see if the minutes for the budget were on there, and I never did see them. Do they have to be approved here first, or?
That's what they approved tonight, were the
Okay,
minutes
so
for the budget.
so most citizens have no idea what this budget is at this point, right?
Well, that's the budget is what's advertised. You have that, the
But
advertisement.
you know, most people are like me, they're too shy to come up and say anything.
No, it was advertised and printed out in
Was it on the website?
the advertisement,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
At what point?
As soon as we got in with the second budget meeting, which would
I
have
looked
been,
last week and didn't see it, so it's my mistake. I only saw 5, and that was up to March.
Okay.
So if it's there, I apologize.
I'm sorry, you mean the minutes?
That addressed the budget.
So, no, the minutes are what they just approved tonight, that's why they're
And
not.
they don't go on the website until they're approved.
The
That's what I
budget, the
was trying to
budget
figure out.
itself, the
Right, the
budget
budget
itself
itself
is
is
on
on
there,
the
which you
website,
apparently
yeah.
have a copy of the
Yeah.
budget, I think.
Yeah, now I do. Yeah, I just looked at it this evening the first time. And I am one of those citizens. Luckily, we do have a retirement fund and a little bit of income. But when you're retired and living on fixed, a 10% raise, I mean, we live right in front of the town maintenance. I know what these guys do. They work hard. They're good fellas. I think our police department is great. I have no complaints with any of the employees. But I do have a complaint with having a 10% raise. And much like Mr. Jessup said, I worked from the time I was 13 years on. I never received more than maybe a 3% if you were lucky. And then to add the addition to the water and sewer, and most retired people use the minimum water, but we don't get any break for never having used all of it. I mean, if it was like rollover gallons or something, it would make some kind of sense, but we're paying the minimum every month rather, and never using the minimum. And then every year we have to pay more for that. So you add that to what everything else that the world has increased. It's becoming impossible to stay in the town of Timberville. It's just like people are fleeing, drive through Harrisonburg and see how many houses are for sale, because people can no longer live there and pay the taxes. And we feel the same way. And all older people setting on fixed incomes, it's getting impossible. And I'm in a household where I'm very lucky, both of us are still alive, so we get 2 Social Security checks. We don't touch our IRA because we're leaving it when one of the first of us go. The other person's gonna have 1 income, and it would be impossible to live in the town of Timberville and pay Rockingham County taxes and Timberville taxes and see everything else go up. So I'd ask you to relook at that. Plains Elementary has always been, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I know you teach, has always been considered a low income, and they get extra like free lunch, free breakfast, all that, because the citizens of this town are considered low income and cannot afford it. But these rates don't reflect that. And I don't know if there's a salary cap for employees, or do you just keep getting more and more every year ready to serve it? whether you should have it or not, but you've been here, so let's just keep putting it up.
Yeah, there's no salary cap.
There's no salary cap. That ought to be looked at very closely. I have never worked, and I worked in HR, I worked in payroll.
Yeah.
There has always been salary caps for jobs, and I think that ought to be considered and looked at very closely. Thank you for your time.
Is that sheet you have with, shows, is that public info? Uh-huh. Okay. Anybody else?
I'm Richard Kaufman, I live at 249 Walnut Drive. Like my wife said, these people's on fixed income, no anymore, I have one person. You go in these grocery stores and all these other convenience stores, how many young people you see in there working, or doing the groceries and stuff, are on their feet, and they're dead to their feet by the time they got, but they got to work, because they got the food on the table for themselves, to pay the medical bills. To me, consideration would be for town of Timberville, if you could give a 5% discount on the people over 70 years old. Try to help them out. Because a lot of them, they're just killing them, just going out there trying to work. I seen people like this, they can't straighten up, they're out there working. I feel sorry for them. I like to work, but my health won't let me do it anymore. When you get around 75 years old, 74 years old, it's hard on you. If you've done hard labor all your life, and I worked in construction all my life, worked long hours. But the people that's on a fixed income need a break. The government, everybody just taking money out of us, and guess who they're taking care of? They're taking care of the people that's working. They get a kickback and stuff like that. People on a fixed income's not getting anything. We need some kind of a help. Well, I love this area.
Right.
And I love to stay here, but if you keep going, you're forcing people out who don't know where to go to.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Going once, going twice, then public comment is closed. Now where do we go, AC? Parks and Recs. Anything on Parks and Rec? Parks and Rec right now. I'm trying to think. We're gonna do the boat launch grand opening at some point. It'll probably be with the Friends of North Fork, but we have to do that, and we have to thank Cargill for their contribution to that. Finance?
Wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
I have something.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you all want us to plant flowers this year or not?
Flowers where?
In the barrels?
In the barrels?
I'd assume so, yes.
You do? Okay. Well, I never heard anything, so.
Well, I guess we just assume that's what our $2,000 in the money that we had in there for beautification's for.
Well, okay. So,
That's what I assume. I assume that's what we want.
you do, David? Okay, well, she can.
Oh, I have one
She has
semi-working
She has one
side.
good working hand.
Okay, I'll
yeah.
take care of it.
I can
Okay.
pat the dirt around down there for
She
you.
can help water, she can take care
Yeah,
of
it's like,
Yeah.
well, this isn't permanent, this is temporary.
Personnel. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just for the audience's
Yeah.
information, the public hearing was all that happens tonight. The budget wouldn't be adopted until next month. There's a requirement in the Code of Virginia that says you have to have at least a 7-day period between the public hearing and when the budget's adopted. So the budget, there won't be any action taken on the budget tonight because the Code of Virginia doesn't allow that. So in case anybody was wondering.
I hope y'all take it out of consideration.
Hopefully the missing council member reads the damn minutes.
Well, you can say it in a little nicer way.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it is what it is. It's funny how every time there's a hot topic, somebody's missing.
Yeah. Personnel, anything on personnel? We are looking for an EDA member, right, AC?
Yes.
If someone has someone, they have to live in Timberville or surrounding area, correct?
Right, and it would either be Timberville or Rockingham County. It has to be within the town or within an adjacent locality.
And currently
so
on
Rockingham is the only thing adjacent to us.
on ETA is Sarah, Andy, and
Randy, you, and Tom Campbell.
Tom Campbell, yes. But we're looking for another EDA member. Personnel, District Museum, Sharon, you got anything for us there?
Sure do. I don't have the number, but first of all, we would like to thank the town for the Vintage Fair, which didn't go over too well because of the rain,
The
but
weather
that's
was
okay.
terrible. Weather was
Oh,
terrible.
the weather was horrible.
Horrible.
But anyway, so we want to thank you all for what you did. The tea is May 21st, and we still have up Historical Broadway. And every Sunday afternoon at the museum is bluegrass from 1 to 4, and they are really, really good. And also, I want to ask, has the town done anything or recognized Nelson Sprouse for all of his years of service to the town? He was maintenance supervisor for 3 million years.
No, we haven't done anything.
Okay, I think something should be done, and maybe give it to his wife.
Didn't she pass away?
No, she's living.
Okay.
What would you like done?
Just some type of recognition, or just at least send her a sympathy card, something. But I mean, we need to recognize because he was here. Do you know how many years?
I don't off the top of my head, no.
It was forever.
Because I know when I started here 19 years ago, Nelson was working part-time for us at that point.
Yeah, because
so-
he had worked
Can,
full-time.
can you work with Melinda to come up with something?
Sure,
Yeah, then whatever you feel.
sure.
Yeah, he needs to be recognized, and
Yes.
if you're going to do a resolution, whatever you want to do, just work with Melinda, and we'll figure out what's
Sure.
appropriate. Okay, other business. Okay, now we have public comment for all the other public comment. So if you want to make a public comment on something else, come on up, introduce yourself, and your address.
I don't know if this applies or whatever, but anyway, Colleen Gray, 263 South Main. I just want to thank whoever is posting the items on Facebook.
Oh,
I don't know who's doing it.
Cecilia,
Cecilia.
They are great. They are great.
she does a good job.
But what about people who don't have Facebook? Is there some kind of way that we can communicate what's going on in the town?
We do have the sign out front as well.
I don't know if it's my eyes or what, but I can't read that thing to save my life.
Do you have any ideas?
No.
Okay.
Well, I do have.
We tried the newsletter thing and it just didn't work.
It didn't work.
No, that didn't work. But if you have some ideas, let us know.
If somebody, if we can somehow get people to get emails, they might not have Facebook, but they might have, a computer. And
Yeah.
I know you'd have to compile all their emails,
But that's
but that's a possibility.
Well, could you do a newsletter online?
Yeah,
And then we go online to read the newsletter?
that'd be great. That'd be good.
I don't know.
Like on the town website?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you can
a
put-
newsletter.
Yeah, you can put those. We'll talk to Celia about it. She knows. I'm like you. I don't know how to do all that fancy stuff.
See, I'm not on Facebook either. And you know, Colleen, sometimes you've told me stuff I
Yeah.
didn't even know.
Because like the boat ramp, I bet if you asked 10 people in the town of Timberville,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know they're having a boat ramp. You know, nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of different things that's going on.
There is a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So-
That's
We'll talk to
she's
Cecilia.
smart about that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, she's all up to date on that.
yeah.
Because you gotta get the word out.
I'll be happy to help with that too.
Sure,
So-
absolutely.
Why did the newsletter not work?
For,
It was a mailing.
right.
First of all, it was a mailing, and you know how much postage is?
But don't we get bills? Isn't there correspondence from the town that it could be included in?
There's a little spot on the bill you can write a small thing on there if you want.
Yeah.
It's like two lines you can write.
Events on there as well,
Yeah.
on the water bills. Yeah.
You can't put another page in that envelope?
It
We don't
doesn't
send it
come
in
in-
an envelope.
It doesn't come in.
We
an
send that
envelope.
little-
It's postcards.
It's a postcard.
Yeah.
We used to send envelopes, it was too expensive, so we went to that little postcard, and now it's getting expensive nowadays too.
And postage going up again in what, 2 months?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else? Anybody else has some public comment?
It is very important to keep people Because if not, we will not be able to find out
What's going on?
and then we won't be able to raise our voice, right? Correct.
Okay, are we good?
point.
No, we're not good.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I have an compromised immune system, folks. I have to wear a mask. It's me. Paula Bowman, 272 South Main Street. I think where I live. I was talking earlier this evening with the mayor, and I know for a fact that years ago, maybe 2 mayors ago, maybe?
It was when Mac was here, so it's over 20 years ago.
Yeah, over 20 years ago. There was a decision made that we needed a sidewalk on a particular street.
Memorial.
It was approved, and the mayor decided, no, we're not gonna spend that money on that, so it wasn't done. To this day, there still is no sidewalk on Memorial Park Drive. That goes down to a very important park. If you drove down there this evening, you would see that there's not a parking space down there in that parking lot. It is full. There's lots of things going on, and we want things to continue going on there, but we want people to get there safely. You can't walk on Memorial Park Drive safely. It's too dangerous. Please go back to putting that sidewalk.
We have to go to VDOT. But we'll keep putting in VDOT's ear.
And I think it's great that we have businesses like Pilgrims and Cargill who help us with things, and I think that they would want their employees to be able to walk safely. I am not the only one in this room who's picked up employees and taken them over there because they've been walking. I know for a fact that at least 2 of you have done that. And it's pretty sad. And when school is out and there's more children walking, it's the same thing. And these mothers pushing strollers, I've told you before, I've watched that. You've got to live there on that corner to really see these things go on. But believe me, folks, it's dangerous. Let's get a sidewalk. We need the one out here, but we also need the one over there. Go back 20 years and correct it. Mayor.
Well, it wasn't, number one, it wasn't voted on. It was suggested, they shot it down, but the end result's the same.
Oh, it was approved, I understood.
It wasn't, it was approved by the states to give it to us, but the council said, which was definitely the wrong move.
Definitely wrong.
Yeah, because it would cost 1/5 what it would cost today to do that.
Of course.
Okay, any other public comment? Then meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
You don't get to hear from them.
Oh my goodness! Sorry.
We'll wait till next month.
You want to wait till next month? I am sorry, Beth.
Oh, you look like you're sorry.
I am. Oh, that's an insult there.